Alphabet are giants. There are some things we can't escape in life, and those things are called responsibilities. If in your life, and this is something I've observed specifically within this week, I saw some sentencing of some people in court. I saw some people pass away, and all these things mapped out towards one central location, and that central location is decision making. Life is just full of choices. Like every day you wake up, you have a choice. You have a choice to do this and not to do this, or to do this and not to do this. And one of the important things I came to learn, I've learned over time, is that within us, we have the speck that knows this is right and this is wrong. Yes, in hindsight, sometimes it is pumped in you through over time, which is sort of a conditioning or brainwashing, some would say. But again, those are the pillars that build us. Yes, over time we also pick up habits, we pick up other things, we pick up different decisions that shape you who you are today. Where am I going with this? If you're engaging in something and this something is going to end up making you incapacitated, you ending up in death, or you just ending up in a position which cannot be reverted back. And I'll differentiate that with there are decisions that we make. Sometimes you quit your job, you know, just because you fumed because of the boss, and those are reversible. It is possible for you to pick up again and get somewhere. But somebody actually mentioned and said, if you know very well that you have dependencies, if you know very well you have that son that you care for, you have that daughter that you care for, your parent, your partner, whoever it might be, your friends, you might have people around you who you really care for and who depend on you because you're responsible over their lives, over their well being, then it is important for you to behave like it. So, for example, the decision you make today should reflect on your care for those who you're responsible for. Because tomorrow, you don't want to be in a position where you're looking at them and you can't provide or you can't do that thing that you've been doing over your life for them. So I'm here today, just challenging, especially fellow men and also women who have responsibilities because we all sort of after we adult, we get into various responsibilities. Always make decisions that will benefit the ones you're responsible for over time. Meaning today, there's something you can say no to. Meaning today, there's something you can reject. Just because tomorrow you don't want this is responsibilities of yours to struggle or to suffer. See people being sentenced in court. Actually, I think the court process is one of the most embarrassing things because all your dirty linen get hung up. And the people you're responsible for see you for who exactly you are. And yes, they are able to forgive you. But the worst thing is when dirty linen comes out and so many people had respect for you. So today, tomorrow, and in the days to come, make decisions and make choices that reflect upon the position you hold over the lives of those you care. It is just as simple as that. Don't drink and drive because when you drink and drive, that decision could end up being irreversible. Okay? Don't literally every day you are surrounded with choices. Don't make that choice that could lead you not to provide to the ones you care for. Okay? I am happy for those who've been supporting me. I am very happy for those who've been subscribing, who've been sharing, who've been commenting, for keeping up with my engagements, and those who've been sharing this channel. I urge you, my friend, who in this channel we call you the alphabet giant. If you're there and you've watched this far, kindly subscribe, kindly watch to the end, kindly watch the adverts whenever they pop up, if they are there. But over and above, just watch the whole video to the end. There is a lot of things I put in there which I cannot necessarily be able to put all in the description or in the title. So thank you for supporting, thank you for listening, thank you for always being here. Let's dive right into the video where we have much more to highlight. Take it away. So today I want to talk about a life of being mentored or being guided. So in this video, I am going to appreciate the people that have shaped me to who I am today. And I'm going to challenge you to find people in your life that build permanent upright blocks for you to be a better man, to be a better woman. In this day and age when there are so many challenges that are everywhere. The first thing that I've always said is that I wish I had somebody to tell me, don't do that and do this. Don't listen to that, don't engage in that. I'm not saying I was a bad kid. Finally, I have been a late bloomer all my life. I have been catching up after people caught up 10 years before. And that's how people are different. People are different in different ways in your mental state, in your mindset, in your thinking, and all that. So I remember when this thing came to mind, my first thing that I ever thought was, I wish somebody taught me how to save when I was younger, when I came out of high school. I wish somebody told me, you see that money that your dad gives you, you can split up and save up a few of it, and cumulatively it will become this large basket of some good resource which you can use. For some reason, I never had that mentality. And sometimes you'll sit and you'll hear people talking about saving, about finances and all that. But it is another thing for somebody first to tip the switch for you on, for you to get to that level of thinking and looking at things. And for me, that took a long time. It took a long time because honestly, I sort of didn't know. I didn't put much attention to it. So I'm gonna pull in some stories of situations that now started mentoring me and shaping me. So I'll start with a college I attended after I left high school. After I left high school, I went and I did some accounting, and I was doing accounting because my parents felt that was the course that was good at that time. But later, I didn't feel it. I remember my last semester. Apparently, my last semester to be in accounting, apparently I failed all the units and I got through with an IT. The IT unit is what I performed well, but the rest I wasn't. And by then I was urging my parents that I want to do IT because I had this particular friend who kept telling me, my friend, just come, we do IT. But I used to think doing IT was for people who are escaping the real, tangible, life careers, which were accounting and lawyers and doctors and such. So I used to feel if you're going to IT, you're lying to yourself, like you're escaping, you're running away. So This guy in this story, we're gonna call him Ben because Ben is his real name. I appreciate you, Ben. And he's gonna pop up in the stories very much because he's the first person who attempted to guide me to a certain direction. Then eventually I was able to convince my parents to take me to an IT course, and I went to do IT. And I remember when I went to that IT, this friend of mine, Ben, was a class ahead of me. So we go through that college and we get through. And with that course, we had the owner of the college. So the owner of the college would come to our classes to speak to us and tell us, yada yada about life. I always remember he came and gave us some advice. And those advices that he used to give us, I used to note them and keep them. I would realize this guy is telling me things I don't know. So I would take the advices and keep them. I'm gonna skip some stories there because my life has so many stories. So I get through with that college. I did a diploma in IT. Then I went and engaged. I did a degree, a bachelor's in IT. And then when I was done, I didn't have I couldn't get a job. But somebody told me, you see where you did your diploma, you can go back there. There's a lady who's going on maternity, and the unit that she teaches, there are very few people who had an interest in it, and you are one of them who had an interest. So you can try your hand. I think they can give you the opportunity. I go there, I find the same owner of the college is the one who's interviewing me. The interesting part is the whole interview, I quoted all the things he used to come, and he never knew me in person. He couldn't even remember me. And it was like maybe 3 years or 4 years later. But I quoted everything he had told us. Like, for example, he would tell us, when you go out there and you go for internship, make sure that you are the first one to get into the premises and the last one, so that people will get used to your name, because most people don't report to work early. Most people don't have that interest. So he was like, so that if for example, there's something to be dropped by the office, everybody will be saying, you will find Mary in the office, you will find Joseph in the office. And that's how your name starts to get known. People start to know, there's an intern who's always here on time. Same thing for later in the day, be the last one to leave the office. Among so many other advices he had given us, I quoted them verbatim to him, and it was so many years later. And I told him, since I had kept that, I was ready to practice what he had taught us. And I got the job. And with that job, I had a 3 months probation for it. I remember every morning he used to come and he would make coffee. He would make coffee for the employees that had already reported to work in the morning. I never missed his coffee. Why? I was always there, the first person. So I was always there every morning. 3 months became 3 weeks. And after 3 weeks, he told me, man, you proved me wrong. I think you're the one for the job. And I was confirmed. So my probation for 3 months just served 3 weeks, and I was given full employment. And this became sort of my second mentor within my life. And I started learning that it is always good to pick mentors from people you can interact with. People are saying, somebody you don't even interact with on a daily basis, or somebody you don't even talk to, somebody you can't reach, somebody you can DM in their Instagram and they never respond. Just because you admire what they do, you call them your mentors. For me, I think it is different. I think people do it differently, but I like to absorb from people I can relate with and I can see what they are doing. So remember Ben? Now this other one was called Laz or Lazarus. So Laz was my second person who really shaped me, and I would always strive and try to do, all the things that I had learned from his lessons, what he had taught us when I was a student. I was there for a year, and within that year, remember Ben got uh, got employed somewhere. So Ben, I remember the day I was going to sign, before I started the probation, the day I was going to sign, Ben calls me and tells me we have an interview here, because I wasn't very knowledgeable of how things go. I felt like I have a contract here to sign. I got a job. This guy is calling me for an interview. So if I go for the interview and I'm not successful and I don't go to sign the contract, then I lose both. So I told him I can't make it. I can't come for the interview. But I didn't know, contract, you already got the job. So contract signing, you can even sign, but I felt like I will lose the job. So I didn't go. And that was on a certain year, September. So because Ben, we were also neighbors where we grew up. And this Ben, we also schooled together in primary. So Ben has always been there in my life anyway. So later, so we would interact with him. He would tell me the work he's doing, what he's learning, the things he's, and I used to feel like this is advanced technology. This is what I want to do. 1 year later, September, again the following year, he calls me almost at the same time and tells me we have an interview again. And this time I had clocked 1 year here. I went for the interview the other side. The interview was so nice. It was so easy. Or rather, probably it was just meant for me, and I got the job there. So I go there and I find Ben. Now Ben is my boss within the department, and he would encourage me. We would talk, and he really played a big role. So fast forward, several years later, we start these rumors in our home. Siblings develop rumors also. So we develop rumors at home that our parents, my dad had already retired voluntarily a couple of years before. My mom was just about to retire. So we had this notion that if my parents retire, they might retire and go back to and go settle somewhere out of town, because that's what most older generation people do, because the city becomes so fast for them and chaotic, and they want to go in a laid back place where there's not so much pressure. So we always felt when these guys retire, we know where they're going. Then by then I had moved out of home, so I was not home every day. I didn't know the development of all those conversations we were having. But one day I'm told my parents now are about to move. That was right after I think after my mom had retired, or when she was just almost to retire. So I'm told they're moving, and at the back of my head, I am just sure where they're going. They're going up country. Okay. Though our up country is not really up country, it's just outskirts of the city where they have a small plot, and they built some good home there. The day they move, I got a shock of my life. They moved within the city to a dream house of mine at that time. Like at that time, I would drive around close to that estate, and I would look at that estate and be like, I like these houses. I think I would. This is where I would want to live. This is what I would like to find myself living in. And my parents move in there, and I realize if my dad has moved to a dream house of me, then what he has first done is that he has just pushed up uh, like what I'm supposed to achieve. Like now he has pushed the bar high such that I need to achieve higher. That day, I remember I went and I told a friend of mine, I think I've been living with my role model in my life all this time, but I've never realized. And from that time, for some reason, that's when I realized I think my dad can mentor me into a better man. That is what gave me, I don't know, it just gave me a realization, and I start looking at him differently. So I remember within that time, this place where I have gone and I'm working with Ben. Ben had already left and gone elsewhere. No, he had not left, but just within that time, there was this changes. Our company was bought by another company, so you first all of you get letters of redundancy that you're gonna be released. I remember I go to my dad and I tell him, I think we're about to lose our jobs. And by then I had worked for quite a while. So the very first thing my dad asked me is, since you've worked there for some years, what do you have to show for it? Is it just your stomach? Like he literally meant, so you've just been eating, like you've just been consuming your payment, your salary. What do you have to show for it? And I think that question just, like, it just boxed my head. Like I came to the realization because I didn't have anybody guide. I didn't have anybody, guiding me. So me, I was finding out life on my own. So within all that time that I was employed, for me, I lived just improving my life, improving my livelihood. My house is the best of this, best of this, best of this. Like I didn't save anything, but I didn't live badly. I remember I invited some of my colleagues to come and help me sort out some electricals in the house. And I remember when they came and I told them, okay, this is where I stay. And they were like, stay? This is living. Man, you're living. Anyway, um, so when my dad tells me, is this like, do you have anything to show for it for all those years you've been? And that's when I realized I think I need his guidance. And we never used to talk much. Even now, it's not that we talk much, but now I look at him differently. I can go to him for advice. He sees my weaknesses and he tries to support me. So anyway, so anyway, nothing happens at work. Good thing we are retained, but unfortunately, my friend Ben leaves and he goes to other engagements. So, but we keep talking, and we push on and we proceed and we proceed. Another time, just a couple of years ago, Ben comes and asks me, because we used to talk, so I used to tell him I want to grow. I feel like I'm stagnant and I'm not moving from, where I am, work wise. Like I enjoy what I'm doing, but I'm not, I'm not having challenges. I'm not having new challenges. And he advised me, and this advice I'm gonna say it, just in brief. I used to do field work. I was a field engineer. I would go out to field. I would travel. That's how I traveled to all those countries. And the stories that I've been bringing here. And I used to go to installations. And uh, and Ben told me, when you're a technical person, mostly there is a ceiling to it, and you have to move under that ceiling to grow. So he gave me an analogy, and he told me, if you're an electrician, okay, your work is just to repair power sockets. Not necessarily power sockets, but you work under somebody who gives you work. Install power sockets, install the switches, install the bulbs and such. He told me, when you're on your own and people call you, they call you to come and do those things. Oh, my thing is not working. My thing, can you check it for me? But there is no day somebody will give you a contract to come and do electricity in the whole house. Okay? Nobody will give you a deal for you to purchase devices, plan the solution, do the installation, quote for it, do the pricing for it, and just make a whole solution as a business person. So he told me, if you continue being a field engineer and a technician, you will never sleep hungry, but you will not skyrocket. And that advice made me change positions. And he told me, look for a way to get into sales. Because when you're a salesperson, you can be a manager, you can be a CEO, because you get into strategy, into planning, you get into pricing, you get now into the nitty-gritties of what everybody out there seems to do in their suits. So that advice stuck to me, and after a couple of years of me fighting because I didn't want targets, I didn't want pressure, I didn't want such things, eventually I started to crawl out of my cocoon, and I talked to my now current boss, and current boss, we're gonna call him RK. So I went under RK and I talked to him. I told him this is what I want to do. And once I told him that, and I think he saw it in me, he started feeling like the company only uses 10% of my abilities. So he would keep pressing on my superiors, now the ones that are the ones that I would report to, that this guy is underutilized, this guy is underutilized. And it didn't take a lot of time until he started to mentor me directly, and he always gave me challenges. He's always been the one giving me, it's not like we don't have different, it is not like we don't get into a meeting and I am bashed, but over and above, he's always guided me. I remember when I was introduced to him, people would say, "Oh, This guy, he just makes noise. His work is just to make noise. He just makes noise. But for me, I realized because sometimes I would be in those meetings and I hear him making noise to these guys who say he's making noise, and to me, I would be like, "But you guys, you didn't get it. Like he's saying, he's always saying this to you, and I can see what his problem is." And it got to a place I even started recording him so that I can listen to his runs later when sometimes when you're in the meeting, you're just hearing the noise, and because this person is structuring a lot of knowledge package, maybe in some emotion, you feel like you can't even listen to them. But when I listen it on the side, then I start to get the points. I even take the notes. I realize even sometimes I call him. There's a time we had an issue, and I recorded. I went. I listened because in the meeting I couldn't hear what I couldn't even like. My mind had blocked, maybe just to secure my emotion or something. But later when I listened, I even wrote to him and I apologized. And I told him, I see what your problem was and I understand where I went wrong. And having said all that, and having mentioned those people as the people that have played a mentorship role in my life, and they have helped me make the decisions that I have made to get to where I am today, development wise. Okay. First, I want to acknowledge them. Ben, Laz, my dad, my dad, even today, we have beef. We have some beef on the table because he's done so much for me, and I'm not even able to keep up with uh, playing ball with him because there are some things that my end I'm not able to meet presently, and it is giving me a problem with him. But I still adore him, and my boss, Mr. RK, is the best. I think apart from those, for the ladies, yes, my mom has been there. There was also another lady who I used to report to. She was called Faith. Faith also was very instrumental. Faith fought for my positions to be confirmed. Some of the positions I had not been confirmed. She fought for them, and which other people would have done, but they had not done. But she came in, and we didn't even know each other before. When she came, and we became really good friends. So she left the organization after a while. But all those people, I want to acknowledge them. I want to thank God for them. Apart from Mr. Lass, who I'm not very sure where he is presently, but I hope he's still doing well. But these other people, they're still in my life, and they're still influential, and they're still pushing me towards where I'm supposed to be. So to close this whole story of being mentored and the mentorship, I have come to realize that you need somebody who tells you the truth without mincing it. You need somebody who shows you direction, even if you don't have the ability for it, but you know this is the right direction I'm supposed to go. I've always told my very good friend Joseph. Yes, it's called Joseph Irongo. So I've always told Joseph that in your life you need those old men that people always despise because of the age barrier, because the old men, and you find an old man who really identifies with your challenge, who can not the ones who tell you, no, take a bottle there. The one who will come and give you marriage advice, the one who will come and tell you there's some plots being sold somewhere, I think you need to go and buy them. The one who will take you on a drive and go and show you some investment things that you need to do with your life. That is the man who is saying you're misdirected and there is a direction he can recommend for you. It is for you to decide to take up that. So today, I'll just encourage you, find somebody who stop this. Oh, my pastor is my mentor, my just people that can actually give you directions might be even the ones who sit with them every day, but it has never come to you. It might be your lecturer who you think just makes noise or just is onto your case for no reason. But mentorship is important. Mentorship is not closing the door, let's sit and talk and I tell you what you need to do. No. Mentorship can be just a one liner, which this person always repeats to you because they see the potential in you. By definition, not Google, not dictionary definition. And now, if you have an opportunity to do the same to other people, don't delay to give direction. Be there for your kids. And being there is not the artificial being there, but make sure they pick up the right direction, the right decision making models, the right pointers to what they need to do. The times might be different, might be irrelevant with what is going down right now on the ground, but humanity, the logic on humanity is always the same. But make sure you are there giving some mentorship and some direction to people. I know there are people who would acknowledge me as a mentor to them, and the way I complain like nothing. But it's always good to have a mentor. Let me close this one here. Wish you all the best. Please subscribe. And if you watched up to here, you're always the gang gang because you give me the watch time. I appreciate it.